Well, I got some Happy Mail and I recorded opening it. And I don't know what I did, but I don't have any footage except for this little piece right here. It shows a peek of what she gave me. That is part of a Chanel bedspread. I loved it. But through this video, I'll be using quite a bit of it. So you'll still know what she got me. And I love every bit of it. So Sonya, thank you so much for sharing some of your craft supplies and that little sewing machine drawer. I love it, and I will do that over in this video. Well, I've been on Etsy again, and I found the cutest little sheep ornaments. So I bought them, and I'm going to do that 3 of them up. And I want to stain the back sides. So right now, I'm just going to stain all 3 of these, and then I'll come back and show you what else I'm going to do. Well, here's where I'm at so far. I also have these little tags, and I had stained them, and then I decided, well, I'd go back to my laser and put Joy on the little tag, and I colored it in with the green pen marker. Not marker, but paint pen? No, acrylic marker. So I'll set those aside. Well, I need those. And now I'm going to take, and I'm going to Mod Podge each one of these and let it dry, because I cut out some, some digital paper I had that I just cut out on plain copy paper. And I'm going to iron that on. So I need to Mod Podge this. I need a bigger brush. So put this on there. Coat all 3 of them, and they'll dry, and I'll come back. Okay, I have this Mod Podged, and now I'm going to put my papers on, and I want to make sure there's the hole for the hanger, and if I want to make sure they're up or they're on straight. Maybe I have this one tilted this way. I'm trying to get it. And if I have a little wood showing, it's not going to matter, because I'm probably ink the edges anyway. And if you hear something humming in the background, it's my heater, my little heater. It's cold out. It was 38 degrees in Oklahoma today. This morning. Ooh, did I move it? Fine. Okay, we'll check it. I got a little off that way. That's okay. I'll sand the edges and ink them, and they'll be fine. Okay, there's the way I want it. As soon as I get this done, then I'm going to start painting my, I'm going to just hold that down instead of rubbing, or till I get it on. Okay. Looks good. All right, as soon as I get this other one on, I'll be back, and I'll show you the little sheep, and we'll start painting those. All right, here are the little sheep that I'm going to put on the circles. I'm going to paint the bodies white, the legs black, and the faces black. And it's going to be really simple. Okay, I have those painted, and they're drying, and now I'm starting on the little wood pieces that go on the sheep. And I am painting. I have some white out that's still there, so I'm using that on the snowflake. And then for my star, or my star, I was cleaning in my craft room yesterday, and I have these little containers I have paint mixed up in and different things. And some of them were dried up, so I got rid of them, washed the containers out. And I found this color, and I thought, well, I don't know what I had that mixed up for, but that's a good color for the star, so I'll use it, because I need to start using that paint and get rid of it. And that's going to work for that, except there's something in it. All right, and then my little heart, I'm going to use Country Red by Americana. And I hear Hobby Lobby's doing away with the deco art, Americana. And that's one of my favorite paints. If I was near a Hobby Lobby, I'd go stock off, especially this Country Red. I used it all the time. Okay, got a little dab there. And then I'll paint the heart. And then when this all finishes drying, I'm going to sand them back to stress them a little bit. And probably ink them. And put it all together. These are a simple project. Whoops. And I will have the cutouts listed in my cup of coffee. Or buy me a coffee shop. I'll leave the link. And if you want to buy, if you have a laser and you want to buy the pattern, I'll leave the link to her page also, because I can't sell the pattern, but I can sell the cutouts. Okay, I'm going to let all this dry good, and then I'm going to start sanding it back. Oh, and I want to tell you, I'm going to insert a little clip here of what yesterday when I went out to the coop, or didn't go out to the coop, I went outside. Well, actually, I looked out the back door and I saw a lot of feathers. So I called my husband, or got him out there, and a coyote had evidently come up and got one of my chickens. And I knew which one. I looked at the feathers, I knew which one of them. I have two of them. And that's what I call my pretty chickens, because they're gold and black and they have kind of a fantail. Well, and I walked out to where I could see what got it. It was a coyote, because I saw the footprint. And I'm going to insert the video here. Okay, right here off the back porch, I look out and I see feathers. Something has got a chicken. Right out here again. And it was one of my pretty ones. I can tell. Dadgummit. And I kind of followed it all the way out. It went right through there. Let's see, where did I see? Right there. That's a pretty good size footprint. Actually looks bigger than a coyote, but I don't know. It went right through there. Cut out somewhere through here. I saw it. Yeah. It took off. Right there's footprints. Took off and went that way. Had a pretty good gallop. Gotta do something. And then last night, or then we went around to the front and started heading to the coop later that day. And in between the house and the barn that blew away in the tornado that he's working on, the other one, the same colored one, I saw its feathers gone. Yep. So I was just sick. So last night I went out. I have to go out and put the chickens that I call my stupid chickens, because they won't learn to go into the big coop. And I put them in the big coop because we're trying to train them to go in there. Night before, only 3 of them was in the grow out pen. Last night, all 6 was in there. And I was doing it by myself because my husband was gone. And anyways, I went out. It was just right. It was just a little bit past dusk. It was still where I could see. And I thought, well, I'm not going to go out when it's real dark. I'm going to go on out now and start moving them. Well, I went into that grow out pen and I grabbed 2 of them, and I went over to the big chicken coop, and I opened the door, and oh my gosh, there was a raccoon right under the roost in the pen. He must have just got in there because we have an electric or an automatic door, and it closes 30 minutes after dusk. So it was just before it had closed. And if I hadn't been changing, because sometimes when Lauren isn't here, I will just shut up the pen instead of moving all of them. But I thought, no, we're too far into this. I'm going to do it. And I am so thankful I did, because I wouldn't have had a chicken left. That door would have closed. He'd have been there all night, and he would have got every one of them. But I started screaming like a wild banshee, and it ran out. And I put started moving the chickens again. Well, I looked for it, and I couldn't find where it went. I moved the rest of the chickens, and I put a brick up in front of it, and I thought, no, that's not going to work. He'll push that right over. I thought, I will stay out here until that door's closed. And about that time, the door closed. So I got all the chickens in and shut the door and shut it all up, and we're going to be setting traps. Yep, because we got 3 raccoons probably in the last 2 weeks. And then there was that one, so there's probably more. But I wanted to tell you about that. Now, while all that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and go around the edges of this and sand that back in case some of it, I did get that much off from it. But it just, like I've done this one, it just makes it look much better. And then we'll start inking the edges. Well, I have changed my mind. I don't like the paper. I think it makes it look too plain. Well, if I change my mind again, I have the paper on the back. But I am going to paint the fronts. I'm going to paint one the red, and one the goldish yellow, and one English ivy. And I'm going to just stress them really heavy. So I'm going to go over this and do this, and then take my finger sander and just stress it back. And we'll see if I like it better. I don't know. I might go back to the paper, but to me it was just looking dull. And I forgot to say, I did have them all the green. So I made some more, and I did, instead of having all joy on one, I made some that I have made one that has peace and Noel. So, and they're 3 different colors. All right, here's what I'm talking about. This looks more like me. Looks more primitive. I like that better. Of course, I have to sand my edges of my sheep. I've done the heads so far, and some on the feet, but I need to do the bodies. But comparably, I like this a lot better than I do on the paper. And all I had to do was flip it over to paint it. Now I'm going to distress the red and the gold and my sheep and start gluing them on. Okay, here is the difference. There's the one with the paper, which somebody else might like. I thought I liked it, but then it didn't look primitive enough for me. So I've done this, and I like this a lot better. Of course, I have to stress around the edges of my sheep and stuff and finish that up. But I like the color in the background. I think it shows up better and will look better on my tree. And just all the way around, I like it better. And instead of having 3 joys, I went back in and cut some more little tags, and one put red and one gold, one green. And I put Joy. The Joy was already on. I had Joy on all three of them. So I decided against that, and I put Noel on one and Peace on the other. Now I have my Distress ink out in Walnut, and I'm going to go around all the edges of these, distressing them, including the circles. And then once I get done doing that, I think I'll be ready to start putting them together. Okay, I'm going to do all the rest of them the same way. Oh boy, that sure looks white. Do I dare? No, I think I'll leave it because I have some, I'm going to try maybe some min wax on it in a special dark. Because it doesn't do a whole lot to your wood. I'm just going to leave that right now like that. And continue on doing these. I got my special dark out. And it's by Min Wax. It's a finishing wax. And I put some on this sheep, and this one doesn't have it. So this looks a lot better to me. And all I did was just actually smear some on. It looks dark at first. And then I'll just take my paper towel and scrub it back as much as I want. And that just kind of darkens it up and gives it a little bit of a distressed look. Okay, and I'll do that to that one also. Then my little tags, I distressed them, went around with some ink, and then tied a little string on them. I used this. And I've done that for those. I just got to make up my mind what I'm going to do for what. No, I guess like that. But I'm going to have to do these now. And as soon as I finish this, I'm going to be ready to put them together. Okay. Wipe it back. I left it back more than I wanted. There. Wipe it like that. I wonder what that would do on this. Not a whole lot, but I like it. Okay, now I'm going to get my glue gun going, and I've got this glue out, and I've got to start figuring out what goes where and finish this up. Now, my hot glue is ready, or my glue gun is ready, and whoa, wait, what was that? Okay, I'm going to put some of this on there. This is wood glue, and then for quick hold, I'm going to put some hot glue. Okay, probably about right there. And then the head. Okay. Whoops, I want to put this on first. Like that. And I think I'm going to put the snowflake on that one. I'm just going to hot glue it because it's just a little piece. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, I have the little, I'm trying to figure out. Yeah. Is that where I want it to go? Just kind of like that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use the hot glue. Then I got to figure out what I'm going to use to make a hanger. Alright, I'm going to finish the rest of them, gluing them down, and figure out what I'm going to use for a hanger, and what else I'm going to do with it, and they'll be finished. Okay, for the hangers, I just used some jute, and then some tobacco cloth from Lovett's Garden on Facebook. And on this one, I couldn't figure out whether to use the brown. This is the kind that I made my reindeer out of, or the white. And I chose the white because I thought it looked better. And now those are all finished. All right, I wanted to show you what I was working on now. This is the sewing machine drawer that was in my Happy Mail from Sonya. And this is not the way it's going to be. I'm just stuffing things right now. And I did put some paper back behind there, just so if I had to glue something, I wouldn't be gluing to the drawer. And I also cut a board right here and put in there in case I needed glue, because I didn't want to glue anything on the drawer. So I'm going to be stuffing and pulling and tucking on this too. Boy, I'm going blurry. Okay. All right, that's what I'm doing and working on now. When I get it finished, I'll show it to you. Okay, I think I am finished with it. And I did take these glue dots, and I glued with glue dots the paper down and the little piece of wood or board that I cut. And that way, anything that had to be glued down is not glued to anything on the drawer. So when I pull it apart, the drawer will not have any hot glue or anything on it. I think that's finished. I'll sit here and look at it a little more and make sure. All right, I want to show you what I done. I went on Pinterest and I found this snowman, and I just copied it, and then I went into my Silhouette software and I pasted it like that. And you can see it has the white background, which I don't want. So right here you can see I've done a trace in Silhouette software, and it removes the white background, and I was left with the snowman like that. And I want to have a background behind the snowman, so I made the size I needed, and I put my snowman on here. I need to back that off, do that back that way. There we go. And I put the background in there, and then I printed this image out, and that's what I'm going to put on the little mason jar to make a ornament out of. Now, here's my mason jar, and Sonya gave me, I don't know, 4 of them or so, I think. So I am going to do this one like with this image that I just showed you. And I'm doing it with, I'm going to paint right now, I'm going to paint the top up here with sterling silver by Folk Art and some metallic. And I already have some Mod Podge right here. It's still wet, drying, so I can Mod Podge this, iron it on. But I'm going to paint this here. All right, this is dry. I've laid this down on there. I want to cut around those edges there and right. Well, I need to pull that down some. Oh, well, that's good. I want to cut those off. Okay, I can sand around that. I need to cut a little bit of this off. Okay, just a little tiny bit. That will work right there. No, that doesn't look good up here, and that will be there. So I have to kind of round that. Don't want it just straight. Okay, that will work right there. That should be good. That looks good. Now, I guess some of it was starting to come through. I'll turn this off because I don't need it. And I'm going to get my acrylic markers. I'm going to get the white and the black. And, whoops, wrong end. And I'm just gonna just go around it a bit. It's thicker than, this thing's spread out so easy. And then I think I'll put one right there. And go in with some white, maybe. That'll do. Now, down on here, let's see. Just do that. All right, now I'll take my finger sander and I'll sand around the edges, and I'll either Mod Podge over this or put some clear wax, one of the two, and I'm going to drill 2 holes for the hanger. All right, I've sanded the edges down, and now I'm going to go around the edges with Distress Ink Walnut. And I've already drilled my holes. Okay. Now just a little bit here and there. Gotta cut the color white off of the snowman. Okay. Now, I think all I have left to do is put I'm going to let that dry just a little bit, and I'm going to use some, just some clear wax over it, and then I'll put the hanger on it, and it'll be ready to hang on my tree.